Did my camera just cut out for you guys too?
First day on the job.
On my end, my camera cut out and my microphone muted. Right at the beginning of the show. This is unbelievable. I'm calling the union.
This is the Handsome Phantom podcast.
I'm calling the podcast union, Brandon. Don't interrupt me.
Now that
I got their number.
Fucking union. 15 guys standing around, one guy working.
Now that's union, baby.
Now that's fucking union.
Welcome to the Handsome Phantom podcast. I don't know why I call it that. The actual name of this show is the HP podcast. We know what it stands for, but it was supposed to be like a double entendre. You know, like hit points, health points, whatever.
Hot
not Hewlett Packard.
Huge
Hewlett Packard. All the things you guys are saying are maybe valid as well. I'm Ben. With me here today are the beautiful boys, Davey and Brandon. Hello, beautiful boys.
Hello. Brandon first, please.
I didn't introduce. I wanted to see what would happen if I didn't introduce one of you first. Dave the first, Brandon.
Hello, gentlemen. It feels good to be back. I had a bit of a hiatus. I started a new job.
Wait. You were gone for a week. I mean, that is technically a hiatus, but usually when people say that, they're like, I missed 6 weeks. I'm Phil. I'm dead. Like,
in my heart, it was far too long.
Fair enough.
And so that's why I put it like that. And aside from the crushing weight of my past transgressions always affecting my life as a whole, I'm wonderful.
Nice.
I am absolutely wonderful. Apart from the beginning part that I mentioned. But yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready, guys. I'm so ready. I feel like I missed out on a lot of game news, so I'm excited to talk about it. Yeah, I've just been super busy. I'm driving a lot. I did something. By the end of this week, I will have achieved something that the European mind cannot comprehend. And you guys want to know what that is?
What's that?
I will have driven 1,000 miles to go to my job in 2 weeks, and the European mind cannot comprehend that.
Yeah.
It simply cannot. 1,000 miles from anywhere in Europe would take you fucking through seven countries, okay? Maybe even more.
Yeah.
Maybe even more, yeah. So the European mind...
You start out in Scotland, you end up at the Great Wall.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. I'm on a whole nother level. I'm so American right now. It hurts. Yeah.
I feel like I see wings, eagle's wings coming out of the back of your headset.
Yeah, I just hear this constant screeching in my ear, and it is, you know, maybe the schizophrenia.
Yeah, it could be.
But I'm good. I'm really good, guys. I'm glad to see you both. And I'm glad to be here. And hopefully I'm on next week as well. We'll see. I don't know. This is all kind of fucked up. The scheduling's been weird, but I'm going to try my damn best to get this figured out because it's very important to me. So thank you for having me back after my sabbatical.
Your sabbatical, your 1 week sabbatical. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I was going to mention that. We talked about a little bit last week about Brandon's new schedule and stuff. So we're going to try to work with him to make sure that we can always have him on the show. We'd like to still keep the show on like 1 day a week, hopefully around the same time, but it may shift. So I always say, like, you can always catch us here at 7 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday nights. That is subject to change. Sorry, that's just how it is. But those of you who are watching live are also mostly in the Discord. So you can take a hint. If you're not watching live, it doesn't matter because it doesn't matter when we're here, as long as we're here when you're ready. And we are. We're ready for you. Is this sexual in nature yet?
Our body is ready.
Our body is ready. Dave, hello. How are you?
I'm okay. I had a weird day. I had a blood test this morning and I had to fast.
Yeah.
So I was a grumpy Gus this morning.
How long did you have to fast for?
So this is where I kind of screwed up. So my blood test was at 12:50 p.m.
Yeah.
So just after lunch. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to not eat dinner. Or sorry, I'm going to eat dinner and then not eat after that, and that'll cover me. But apparently I was only supposed to fast for 8 hours because when I got there, they're like, when is the last time you ate or drank anything that wasn't water? I was like, 8 o'clock last night. And they're like, oh. So apparently once you get into like the 12 to 16 hour range, your body actually starts to produce cholesterol, which is the opposite of what you want for a blood test like this.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I think I was like right in there, but in any case, I what I should have done is like woke up in the middle of the night or just stayed up to midnight and eaten something. But yeah, so I
Wow.
fasted for too long was the answer.
Yeah. I speaking of fasting, uh I usually don't eat a lot on Sundays, but the last 3 Sundays in a row I haven't eaten anything.
Right.
I've eaten whatever I was going to eat on Saturday night and then not eaten again until Monday morning. And I got to say, it's pretty awesome. I like feel really good at the beginning of every week.
Interesting.
I'm not going to do it this coming week because I'm going to be in Boston and like have to work, and that's not a good idea, but it's been pretty great actually. I one time fasted for like almost 4 days, like 3.5 days. And like I was making sure, like drinking lots of water and everything. It wasn't for any kind of blood test or anything. I just wanted to do it because I felt bad and I wanted to see if I could make myself feel less bad and like start like almost like elimination,
Yeah.
like, and only eat certain things then for a week afterwards and just see if how it affected me. And I learned a lot of things make me feel terrible pretty quickly.
It's funny you say that because so in the mornings I don't really eat much. I just for
Yeah.
whatever reason I do not feel like eating breakfast, but I do drink coffee. And Brandon, we were talking about this a little while ago where it's like if you try to not drink coffee for a while and see how you actually feel, I think that's what actually got me more. I didn't get headaches or anything, but I really felt like I wanted my morning coffee and I just couldn't have it. So I think it was more the lack of caffeine than it was the food. But yeah, it was it's not fun. And the thing is whenever you book these blood tests, like all of the
Yeah.
morning appointments are all gone because everybody else wants to get it over with so they can friggin' eat. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. It is a mess. The whole blood test thing. I mean, I get it, but like, why do you have to take so much of my blood? You can like they're just using like a little tiny dot of blood to test, but they got to take vials of blood.
You make more.
Yeah, but why is it like it just takes too long?
Maybe they could just take a bunch all at once, and then like for any future tests, doesn't matter if your health shifts at all.
I don't think that's how it works.
Maybe they're selling it to like Grok or something and they're just building like cocoons like from the Matrix when you get unplugged.
Dude,
Elon
blood
is building the
cocoons.
Matrix.
Yeah.
That's one of the best metal band names I've had in a while. Blood Cocoons.
That's a pretty good one. Alex Dies Twice points out, Brandon, in Europe you would just take the train.
Yeah, but you wouldn't take it that far in
Okay.
Europe.
Okay.
You wouldn't take it. I mean, you could, and it would be faster, but
And what? Not pollute the ozone?
yeah, remember the part where he said he felt really American? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, what am I going to do? How am I going to stop at the gas station and buy Marlboro Reds if I'm on the train? Okay.
They sell them on the
They
train.
sell them on the train.
I
They
want
smoke on
a
the
pack
train,
of
too.
Marlboro Reds, a boner pill, and $6 on Pump 9. That's all I need.
Scratch tickets.
$70 of scratchers, $5 on the pump of gas. That's all I need. Three roller dogs. Count them. 1, 2, 3. They've been
I
rolling all
remember
day.
when I first started driving, and I was like 16, so I didn't have a lot of money and barely had a job that paid me anything. And I was driving, and I remember being like so excited when I had enough money at a time to not just put $5 in my car. I could up it to putting $10 in my car.
Hell yeah.
Now, granted, $10 got you a little more gas than it gets you these days, but also my car got like it was a Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme. So it was a boat.
Ooh.
It ran like a champ, but it was a boat, and I think it got like 4.5 miles of the gallon by the end of that thing's life. So
Gallons to the mile.
yeah. But anyway, the whole idea of like being able to put $10 in there instead of 5 at a time, bygone era. Bygone era. You could pretty much, if you only put $5 in your gas tank right now, you can pretty much get from the pump to around the back of the gas station, and then you have to go back to the pump to put more in.
Yeah.
So this is the HP podcast. We talk about blood tests and video games from time to time as well. As I mentioned earlier, you can usually catch us here live Tuesday nights for the next couple weeks until Brandon's schedule gets kind of ironed out. Time to be determined, but it'll be in the evening, most likely. Well, no, definitely. It'll be in the evening at some point. We'll let you know. If you want to know more up-to-date information, join our Discord over at handsomephantom.com/Discord. We'll keep you updated. Maybe not as early as you'd like. Maybe we'll come in hot an hour before the show and be like, the show's delayed tonight. That's just how it's going to be, guys. Get off my back. You can also go over to patreon.com/handsomephantom if you want to support us for as little as $1 a month. That's not even the cost of a gallon of gas. Come on, guys. You can do that. You can help us out. Boys, shit. Should we talk about some video games?
If you can.
It's a good start.
Dave, kick us off.
Black Myth Wukong. We haven't talked about this game in a while, but this comes from thegamer.com. Black Myth Wukong. The physical release of Black Myth Wukong performed so well that it saved businesses, says publisher. In recent years, we've seen an undeniable shift away from physical game releases as the industry pushes for a digital-only future. Even the 2023 Game of the Year winner, Baldur's Gate 3, didn't get a physical release until long after launch, showing that this isn't always a guarantee. Similarly, Black Myth Wukong didn't release physically until after its digital launch. However, according to its physical publisher, PM Studios, it's a good thing that it did because this release has performed incredibly well. This comes from PM Studios CEO Mike Yum, who spoke with our Eric Switzers at Level Up Expo in Las Vegas. I wish I could reveal the number, but those guys, Game Science, are very private, and I respect that. But it's shown me all the distributors and partners and retailers out there that it's very healthy still, he says. I got a lot of calls, like during Christmas and after the New Year's, thanking me and saying that it saved their business. He continues, highlighting the importance of physical releases in many regions. It was a huge hit in certain countries like Spain and Italy, and I didn't know why. In places where they still don't have advanced internet technology, they won't download a 100 gigabyte disk because they're paying per data. In places like that where the bandwidth is low and slower, they were very much waiting for a physical copy of the game. As for benefits of a physical release, Yum points out that it can get more eyes on a game since anyone walking into a store could see it. On the other hand, digital marketplaces are flooded, making it hard to rise to the top. This isn't so much about Black Myth Wukong. I mean, it's pretty cool that the game did sell as well as it did for the reasons that it did physically, but I don't know. It's interesting to kind of look at this from different perspectives because where we are and the people who are listening and watching us don't really have issues when it comes to downloading massive games, but that's not necessarily the reality for everybody. So I don't know. Brandon, what are your thoughts on this sort of, we've kind of had this assumption that digital is going to take over. It's just a matter of time, but does this change your thinking at all?
I'd say a little bit. It does widen the perspective. Someone who is in a place that has good internet, this is something that you don't always think of. But I think that even though this is a current problem, this problem will continue, much like the drive for physical will continue to diminish over time with the way the internet spreads and the technology spreads. So, yeah, this is a cool thing to see. My boy Yum doing it up big, putting out some big plays for physical media. I love this guy, and not just because his name's cool either. But yeah, he's right here. He's looking at it in a different way, and even like saying the whole bit about the digital storefronts being flooded. I mean, I don't think that developers really even consider this sort of thing sometimes because it's cheaper to just put it in the marketplace, but that's kind of the price you pay. It just is buried. So, a game like this, and for someone as prominent in the space, for a game that got this big last year, it's actually huge for physical media that he's coming out and saying stuff like this. So, yeah, I would hope that this kind of helps people to understand that there is still a big want and a big need and a big desire for physical. Not that digital can't be, something that coexists beside physical, but I'm worried for the days that these things aren't coming out with CD drives at all. You know what I mean? So I think we're approaching that, but I do genuinely love to see this. Like this is a feel good piece for me, truthfully, as someone who is an avid physical collector.
Ben, your thoughts?
Yeah, people come in here all the time, like Radic, just saying, "Oh, we're boomers because we like physical media." Listen, it's not for us. We're doing this for all the businesses and the developers. Okay, we're buying physical to keep them in a job. All right, that's what it's.
In Spain.
And yeah, all the people in Spain.
The power's still out, but it's okay.
Well,
Yeah.
hey, look.
They have generators maybe at the corner store. I don't know. Anyway, no, this is, in all seriousness, this is cool to see them say this. It's interesting. He's like, the physical aspect saved our businesses. I don't know if I don't want to call the guy a liar, and I'm not going to, but that just seems like a little wild to me that like one game's physical copies save businesses. Maybe, sure, but that's wild. But anyway, I think it's cool that this game sold a lot physically, and that at least this developer and publisher is, championing the physical. And that's the thing I'm all about, like, do whatever is most convenient for you. Do whatever is the best value for you and works best for you. When I pre-ordered the Switch, I pre-ordered the bundle with Mario Kart with it. It's a digital code, but I saved $30. That was the best scenario for me in that instance. If the physical copy had been the same cost, I would have bought the physical copy instead because that's just my preference. But I don't know why. Like, there's so many people who are like, we want physical options, and a lot of the digital people are like, screw physical. We don't need physical anymore. I'm like, just have both. Like, it's fine to have options. I'm not saying both are for everybody. I'm just saying, like, why not have both? So anyway, I think it's good. I think it's good to have somebody championing that. Hopefully some other people see it. Obviously, we've got a ton of games that are like only coming out on Steam that are making the world insane with their sales numbers and not having to worry about like whether they have physical or not. They're selling so many that it doesn't matter to those developers. But it is cool to see that people are recognizing positive effects from having a variety of options, especially when it comes to different locations and different play styles and preferences and everything. I think that's cool. And I think, Brandon, you're probably onto something. Like, we are seeing more of a push toward digital only consoles. The Series S, then the Series X came out with a digital only version, and we had a digital only PlayStation as well, but the physical version sold, the disc version sold more. But I don't know if that was because it was more readily available or what. I don't know. So, like, I don't think we're going to go away from it entirely. I think eventually we might. It'll be kind of like when you would walk into Walmart or some other store that had music in like 2004. There were like a ton of CDs because that was the new way to do it. But then, like, there was still like that one little rack with a few cassettes for those people who just had to have the cassette. I think we'll continue to see at least the ability to add on a physical drive for CDs for a long time. How long? Yet to be determined. But when you have places that are saying, like Spain and Italy, have a huge concentration of people who want or need physical releases, demand is everything. And if you're going to cut out entire portions of countries by not going digital, or by not going physical, I think it'll take a little longer than we think.
The article calls out another group of people, which is the impulse buyers.
Yeah.
Remember, like, when you were kids and your mom or dad or whoever would take you to the store, and you just your purchasing decision was based on box art. And that's crazy to think of now, but there's still people out there who shop that way, and maybe they're doing it on a digital storefront, but I have to imagine that there's still a lot of people out there who are walking into a store completely blind and picking something off the shelf. So the second you choose not to release your game physically, you immediately lose out on all those people. And yes,
Yeah.
it maybe isn't a massive chunk, but you've just lost out on the opportunity to make that sale. So it's, I don't know. It's interesting to think about from those different perspectives.
Radic says, don't forget about the rack of UMDs in the mid 2000s. Yeah, same concept there.
Have you guys ever watched a movie on a PSP?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, I
Oh,
I
yeah.
own a couple, yeah. It's awful.
Was there a follow-up, Dave, or you just
No, I
curious?
just was curious if you guys actually did that. And
Yeah. I never owned any myself, but I had a buddy, we'd watch them on bus trips when we were in school. Like going to, whatever we were doing for school, we'd just watch a movie on this PSP, because why not?
right.
One headphone each, one earbud each. Cinema right there.
It's a different time, man. A different time.
I don't remember. Maybe it was Dustin or Colin or somebody joking about the best way to experience Oppenheimer being on an iPhone. Uh, anyway, moving on. Microsoft's impressive Q3 earnings report. This comes by way of Simulation Daily. They said today, and by today they mean like almost a week ago, Microsoft announced its financial results for Q3 of fiscal year 2025 related to the period between January and March of 2025, including an update on its gaming business. It's worth mentioning that these results include Activision, Blizzard, and King, which were acquired a while ago. I don't even think we have to specify that anymore. Simulation Daily, okay, they're just part of them now, but anyway. According to the documents provided by the company, overall gaming revenue grew 5% year over year, or year on year, it says. Its first component, Xbox content and services revenue, grew 8% year on year, driven by Xbox Game Pass, Call of Duty, and Minecraft. On the other hand, the second component, which was Xbox hardware revenue, declined by 6% year on year. This is pretty much in line with the outlook provided by CFO Amy Hood at the previous financial conference call in January. As usual, Microsoft doesn't report the profits of individual segments of the business, but the Form 10Q indicates that the gaming business earned $5,721 million in revenues in Q3, so that's $5 billion in revenues in Q3, compared to $5.4 billion in the same quarter of the previous year. Looking at the fiscal year so far, or more precisely, the first 9 months, the gaming business recorded $17 billion in revenues, which is considerably up compared to the $16 billion disclosed for the same period of the previous fiscal year. All right, Simulation Daily, we appreciate that you provided this article for us to discuss tonight. But in the future, if you're going to say 17,923 million, just say billion. Thank you. Boys, Microsoft up overall, down in hardware, which, is to be expected, especially as they're moving more of their services towards different hardware that they do not own a financial stake in. But this is a lot different than the messaging, and we're going to talk about some more of that messaging a little later. But, Microsoft's gaming revenue growing 5% year on year, specifically with content and services being up 8%. I don't think they're hurting. Maybe they need these other platforms and these other distribution methods to succeed. That's fine. But they're not suffering because of it, like a lot of people want to say. Dave, what are your thoughts on these numbers?
They're good, and they're consistent. They're starting to be consistently good. And the hardware struggling is nothing to be surprised about, because we know what the market is and we know what the feelings are around Microsoft hardware, and we know what Microsoft is doing to its business to devalue its hardware. So that's not surprising at all. But on the flip side, their IP is becoming available everywhere, and the quality of their IP is getting better and better. So all of this time and money that Microsoft spent gobbling up all these studios is starting to pay off. And my big question is like, how many positive earning reports is it going to take before this starts paying off? And this is something we're never going to know the answer to, but I have to imagine that Microsoft is going to need a lot of these before that deal starts to, turn a profit. But in any case, this is Microsoft we're talking about, and we're starting to see the advantages of them transitioning into a sole competitor of Sony and Nintendo's into a publisher, which is what it's strongest to be right now. And this is great. We're talking about Q3. Q4, which we've talked about for the last couple of weeks, has been amazing for Xbox or Microsoft properties. Everybody's talking about Clear Obscure. Next week we have Doom coming. We had Indiana Jones come out on PlayStation as well as Forza. We just got the Gears announcement, which that'll fall into next fiscal year. But there's a lot going on for Microsoft right now, and we're starting to see consecutive wins pile up for them. So, yeah, I don't know. It's I've said it every time that this comes up. This is great for everyone. It's great for Sony, it's great for Microsoft, and most importantly, it's great for all gamers because all of these awesome games are available anywhere. There's no barriers anymore. So good for Microsoft. They've earned this, and hopefully it just keeps coming because this is good for everyone.
The only barrier in some instances is time of when those exclusives hit PlayStation and no longer become exclusives, but I think that time will decrease as we move forward. And just before anybody says anything, Edwin, Dave knows that Clair Obscur is not a Microsoft property, but it is on Game Pass, so it's driving subscriptions. You can guarantee it is driving subscriptions. Brandon, your thoughts?
Yeah, essentially, I'm going to echo what Dave said. I think the hardware down 6% is fine for now because they're making it up in other ways. I'd be interested to see how this successful new push, this successful new Microsoft continues to morph as the hardware sales continue to go down. Then you're talking about maybe timed exclusives being shorter, so that way you have larger sales windows closer to the release dates. I would expect as sales of hardware continue to go down, that we'll see more drastic pushes towards this new direction Microsoft is going as sales of this sort continue to fall. Even if it's down, it's certainly not nothing. They are getting something from this. It's just not increasing. So as this continues to not time over time benefit them in a positive way by increasing, I don't know. We talked a lot about, Microsoft potentially getting out of the hardware game. I don't know that that's ever going to happen completely, but they will continue to shift, and they've been successful at shifting. There was a point in time a year ago when we were talking about Microsoft and what they were doing, and they're in the best spot they've been in a long time. Finally. And they're clearly not hurting in a lot of ways at this point. So, yeah, agree with Dave. This is a great thing. It's a great thing for everybody. It's a great thing for people that love PlayStation. Competition is good, even if it's slightly adjacent in some ways, even if we don't have Microsoft and Xbox pushing the sales of their consoles. The fact that this awesome software gets to be on other platforms is really the win. And people that can't see that as PlayStation fans are blinded by stupid. Let's say that. So, yeah, it's good. It's good. Dave said mostly what I was thinking.
Cool. Well, speaking of Microsoft's hardware, we got an article from The Verge, which, hey, maybe will dramatically impact those numbers. It says Microsoft is raising the prices of its Xbox Series S and X consoles, Xbox controllers, and even some new Xbox games around the world. Starting today, this was a few days ago, Starting today, Microsoft says it has adjusted its recommended retailer pricing for its consoles and controllers, with the Xbox Series X being bumped by $100 to $599.99. Microsoft is also planning to adjust the pricing of some of its new first-party Xbox games this holiday season, up to $79.99. Series S 512 gig model is moving from $300 to $380. A price hike of $80. The Series S 1 terabyte model is moving to $429.99, and the Series X Digital Edition will now be priced at $549, with the 2 terabyte Galaxy Black Special Edition model now an eye-watering $730. Wireless controllers and headsets are also having their retail pricing adjusted in the US, with the base controller moving to $65 and the wireless headset now at $120. You can already find both these accessories at this type of pricing right now. Some games are moving from $70 to $80 this holiday, in a move that matches the more expensive pricing of Nintendo's top Switch 2 launch titles. However, Game Pass pricing will remain the same. This is, of course, going to affect European countries, including the UK, as well as Australia. Europe and the UK will be priced at 349 euros, with the 1 terabyte X going up to 600. I should quit trying to read foreign currency. I don't know how it works. It's magic to me. This is the second price hike we've seen, although the first one was not solely in the US and seemed to have less of an impetus. Of course, we're looking at a lot of different political climate things with tariffs and everything else impacting everything, but especially consoles. But if I had to guess, Xbox already wanted to raise the price of their consoles before that, and this just gave them the reason to. Not saying this didn't impact what they needed to raise it to. I'm saying I kind of feel like they wanted, as soon as they raised the prices last time, they were like, man, we should have gone more. That seems to be how everybody's kind of moving. But anyway, Brandon, your Xbox, your Master Chief Xbox that you never play has appreciated in value. That's unheard of in the console market.
I appreciate that about it. It was already more expensive because of the version it was. But yeah, this going hand in hand with the last article, I mean, the best way that I've heard in business, if you want your sales to increase, is to increase prices. I think that's how it goes. Every time I play a sim game, I always just up the prices and everyone comes flocking in. That happens every time. Yeah, this is a little bit interesting to me. It even more so kind of time and time again shows us where Xbox's head is at. And I'm not saying there isn't external factors. What I am saying is that they're not trying to make it up in hardware, and that's incredibly apparent. Everything's going up. I get that. I don't think these two articles being hand in hand are like... They provide context, but I think it makes sense why everything's going up, but it's just funny seeing these stories back to back. So, yeah, I mean, I said it a couple weeks ago. I probably said it a couple times over the past couple of months. It's looking good. It's looking good being a PC gamer. Not to say you're not going to pay more money in peripherals. Not to say, but the thing is I'm the type of person, especially with tech, and I might be an outlier. I might be in the minority here, but I would rather wait a little bit longer and get a slightly more future-proof, slightly higher quality product. And I would encourage anybody, especially with the Xbox, especially with the Play Everything Day Ones and the Game Pass being on PC, to consider heavily getting a controller. Let's say you want to play on controller. Plug that bitch into your PC. So I think that's also a driving factor why the 5% is down, is because, the rise of PC, the rise of Play Everywhere. But yeah, it is what it is, man. There's not a whole lot profound to say that we haven't already said, unless Dave says something about...
You just set the stage for Dave to say nothing profound. Congratulations.
Well... No, what I'm saying is that, like, this goes hand in hand with all the other things that are increasing. I personally, I don't think I'm going to say something I haven't already said about the PlayStation prices going up, about the PlayStation Plus going, it's all wrapped into that to me, and it's just the way the world is right now. So this doesn't really come as a surprise, is all I'm saying. So Dave, take it away.
There are running themes to this show, and I don't know if you guys have ever noticed, but I feel like 2 years ago, it felt like every single show we were talking about an acquisition. Last year, every single show, it felt like we were talking about layoffs. This year, it feels like every single show we're talking about a new price increase, price jump, or whatever. So I think this is a pretty big mistake on Microsoft's part. I get why they're doing it. There's 3 reasons: tariffs, inflation, and most importantly, because everybody else is doing it. But I feel like your hardware is already enough of a hard sell as it is, and you're going to incur more of a cost in holding inventory because you're making it an even tougher sell now because it's more expensive. And I feel like, you've had a lot of good news come out lately with a lot of good games on Game Pass, and you're giving people a reason to buy your consoles. But when you up the price like this, you're just giving those same people a reason to look elsewhere to buy your games, because they don't need to buy your box anymore. They can get it on PC, they can get it on PlayStation, cloud gaming, whatever. So I don't know. I would have just taken whatever hit they were taking by just keeping it at the original prices and clearing out your inventory rather than trying to make a little bit more per unit, because again, I don't really think these things are selling that well. So I think this is a mistake by Microsoft, and they probably should have just kept the prices as they were, and taken the hit, because they can eat that cost, no problem. And people may have started to buy your consoles now, but I don't know. This isn't a good look.
Dave, I was going to ask the question when you were talking about the storage factor. I'm like, don't you think Microsoft considered that in their plan? And then I was like, nah, I think they probably didn't. Obviously there's some number cruncher doing something out there, but it doesn't seem like they care if people buy their console anymore, was my main point. Like, their investors care about the bottom line, and however they get there is fine, but it definitely seems like as long as the end number for gaming goes up, how it gets there, they don't really care.
Pretty much.
And if that means kill the hardware as far as people wanting to buy it and whatever, I don't think they're going to be upset by that. So,
Dude,
while I think you're right about being the best move would just be to eat it, I don't think they care.
dude, all the bean counters want is to see green.
Yeah.
That's all they want. They just want to see green.
True. Shall we move on?
Please.
How dare you? The big news of the day, probably for the week, the month, maybe even the year, is going to be Grand Theft Auto 6. From now on, we're all Grand Theft Auto 6 all the time. That's what we're doing. Sorry. We got a delay last week, this past week, that said Rockstar sent out a message that said Grand Theft Auto 6 is now coming May 26th, 2026. Hi, everyone. Grand Theft Auto 6 is now set to release on May 26th, 2026. We're very sorry that this is later than you expected. The interest and excitement surrounding a new Grand Theft Auto has been truly humbling for our entire team. We want to thank you for your support and your patience as we work to finish the game. With every game we have released, the goal has always been to try and exceed your expectations, and Grand Theft Auto 6 is no exception. We hope you understand that we need this extra time to deliver at the level of quality you expect and deserve. We look forward to sharing more information with you soon. Sincerely, Rockstar Games. Mr. Rockstar Games, if you're nasty. Boys, this is not really unexpected. We kind of assumed this game wasn't actually going to launch in 2025. But we got the devastating news last week that it's going to be delayed for sure until 2026. Hopefully that May date sticks. We'll see. But then today we also got a brand new trailer, a great trailer for Grand Theft Auto 6. And I just want to hear you guys' thoughts in general. Dave, let's kick it off with you.
Sure. There's this, I think he's just a guy, but I'll call him an outlet on Twitter, called Playstalgia, and he focuses mostly on retro consoles. He's a big PSP guy, and after the trailer came out, Corey, yeah, he posted a tweet that said GTA Vice City trailer number 2 from 2002. So I watched the GTA 6 trailer, and then he posted this, and I had to go back and watch the original second trailer for GTA Vice City before its release. And I don't know, I've said this on the show before, but Vice City is my favorite Grand Theft Auto of all time. And I hadn't really been pining for GTA 6. Like, I'm going to play it when it comes out, just like everybody else, but I'm fine waiting. But when I saw the new trailer today, and then I saw Corey posted that, I was like, I am ready to be back in Vice City. Like, the trailer they put out today was just phenomenal. It was so good. all Grand Theft Auto trailers are like this, but it was great to see again today that when you watch a Grand Theft Auto trailer, you can watch it 15 times and still be pulling out multiple things on the 15th watch through of just new stuff that you're going to be able to do and interact with, whether it be a small thing or a big thing. And Rockstar are absolute monsters in their field when it comes to immersive detail. And it's just fun watching these trailers and seeing all the detail, but also just kind of feeling what the mood of the game is going to be. And another reason why I loved watching that trailer that Corey put out today was just the memory of Iran by Flock of Seagulls, and it's how synonymous it is with that game. And I'm just like, I get the feeling that GTA 6 is going to have a similar feel for me, where it's just going to, something about it is just going to live within my brain for years and years and years. And yeah, I don't know. It's been a while since I've been this excited just based on a trailer, but I really like the dynamic they're going with the couple characters. So, the Bonnie and Clyde approach of two bank robbers who are, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband and wife, whatever. I think that has some really cool potential from a storytelling standpoint, and also can get really emotional. So, I think Grand Theft Auto has always leaned on the satirical side, but there's an opportunity to do something a little bit more emotional with this kind of story. But in any case, I mean, you just kind of see the detail in the graphics that we're going to be getting with Grand Theft Auto 6. And I saw the other day that, the PlayStation 2 era had 3 different Grand Theft Auto mainline games, whereas Grand Theft Auto 5 spanned 3 different generations. And I'm not making excuses for that, but you kind of see why it takes Rockstar so long to make these games. Is, you go back and look at what Red Dead Redemption 2 is it's going to look amazing. It's going to be massive. There's going to be detail everywhere. You're going to be able to play it for a long, long, long time. So yeah, this got me pretty pumped. I'm not too worried about the delay. There's a lot of good stuff coming out this year that's going to fill the time. So yeah, I do feel like a lot of people who were eyeing next May to launch their game, whether it be an indie or AAA, just kind of rethought their plans though. So yeah, very exciting. Very exciting.
Brandon?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I think we all knew this wasn't coming out this year. My dad was insistent.
Yeah.
And in fact, every time I talked to him, I swear to God, he had a new place that he had saw the date had come out. Like every time. It was actually hilarious. He'd be like, "Did you hear it's coming out in October?" And I'm like, "No, it's not." I'm like, "I don't know where you saw that, but there has been no official date for this game, Dad." Oh, okay, all right. Next time I go over, "Hey, did you hear it's coming out in June?" Dad, why are we? Everything you see on Facebook is not real. Anyway,
Most things, in fact.
Yeah,
real on
I'd
Facebook,
say almost everything. But yeah, this is great. I agree with Dave. I unfortunately didn't get a chance to. I just peeped it real quick while we were recording because I at least wanted to have some context. But yeah, it looks great. I can't wait to watch it with full sound. It's going to be one to remember, and I think it's going to be worth the wait. Rockstar is a company that has very little bad faith ever. And a company of this caliber working on a game of this scale for this long, unless there's like heavy technical issues, like performance issues, and if there is, I think it's because of the lack of the power in consoles, not because of Rockstar maybe. But yeah, man, I'm so fucking hyped. I'm so ready. At this point, boys, what the fuck is one more year? I mean, really, it's just like at this rate, anyone that's angry about it, I'm like, first of all, you're stupid for thinking it's coming out this year if you've read anything about the development and how at the end of last year they were saying that they're like nervous about the timeline or they're crunching or something. It's like just then you're like, I know. if you're already setting the expectation, so unless there's some fucking breakthrough, but yeah, this is good, man. I cannot wait. And I know I have a lot of goals for this year, but I would love to actually beat GTA 5 at some point because I've not. Don't smirk, Dave. I see you fucking smirking out there. I know, dude. I know. I know. That I need to play Resident Evil. I know. It's gonna be great. I'm happy.
Hey,
And-
we do have opportunities to swap about halfway through the year, so just keep that in mind.
Good to know. We're almost halfway through the year, so I'll give it a lot of thought.
How many of your resolutions have you finished, by the way?
I'm like, it's one of those things where like you can see the finish line.
You're like 1/10 of the way through one of
Mentally,
them,
I'm
right?
there on like 2 of them.
Like pretty much I can see the finish line. It's like, you know when it's really hot and you see that waviness in the distance? Like I can see it through that. It's like a mirage. Yeah, I'm excited. And I'm glad they gave us something. Like that was actually really nice of them to like be like, "Hey, sorry. Here you go." Like
Yeah.
I don't know, it's something. You know what I mean? Cuz they didn't have to. Like truly. Not to say this trailer doesn't build hype, but this is the type of game that is going to absolutely crush records regardless of whether they put a cent more into marketing or not. And they will. They will put a fuck ton of money into marketing. But this is the type of game that doesn't inherently need it. Everyone knows what GTA is. People that don't play video games know what GTA is. Like it's cemented in culture. So
It is culture. The game is culture.
amen, brother.
It's a representation of culture and it permeates culture, therefore becoming the culture which it then mocks and imitates.
Amen.
Dave, similar to you, Vice City is probably my favorite game, although San Andreas was up there too. And I think it's just because of the times in my life that I played them, like what I was experiencing. But I remember very specifically the first time I saw Vice City trailer number 2, the one you were talking about earlier. And I remember thinking how great it looked. I didn't think graphics could ever get better than that for video games. And it's so funny watching it now, obviously, because like how bad it looks in comparison. But man, that game is so many memories of that game. I'm excited as well. I know this isn't going to happen, but I like to think that they delayed it until next year just to make sure the PC version was ready as well.
Dude, I would actually shit a brick. Wouldn't that be
It's-
something?
it's
Wouldn't
not
that be
good.
something? I know, dude, but I want it to be.
Well, you know what? It's not going to be, but there is the slight potential that they were like, you know what? GTA Online is huge on PC. It's big everywhere, but it's huge on PC. Maybe we should just go ahead and start milking that cow right now.
Dude, speak it into existence, man.
It's not happening.
Speak it into existence.
But I like to think that that's the case. Benji said it was interesting that they said Series S at the end of the trailer for all the fear mongering. I did not actually
no
see
Nintendo
that.
Switch logo though at the end of the trailer.
No Nintendo Switch logo.
Honestly,
Where are people going to play it? Like,
I'm canceling my pre-order for the Switch 2. I was really banking on that.
I thought you didn't pre-order it.
I was joking about both things.
I really wanted to mock you for backing out of your commitment to not buy it, but then no, I can't.
No, yeah, it was a double joke.
Oh, the mess I get myself into. Speaking of a joke, I'm just kidding. That has nothing to do with this next story. Gears of War Reloaded is coming to Xbox Series X and S, Xbox PC, Xbox Cloud Gaming, PlayStation 5, and Steam in summer of 2025. This comes directly from the Xbox blog or website or whatever it is. The original Gears of War returns, faithfully remastered and natively optimized for more platforms than ever before as Gears of War Reloaded. It will launch October 26th for $40 on Xbox, PC, Cloud Gaming, PS5, and Steam, and arrives day one with Game Pass Ultimate or PC Game Pass. It supports cross-play and cross-progression across all platforms. Xbox fans who own the digital version of Gears of War Ultimate Edition receive a free upgrade to Gears of War Reloaded. Lots of cool stuff in this thing that they dropped. Just talking about everything. Here's the thing I'm most excited for. If you've ever gone back and tried to play Gears of War 1 on PC with a friend in co-op, it is impossible. So if they actually manage to not only just make that work, but also cross progression and crossplay, that's a feat in and of itself. But I don't know if anybody else has tried to play Gears of War on PC with a friend in co-op online. Literally impossible. Dave, you're a Gears of War boy. What do you think?
Just played through the trilogy last year, and one thing I need to get clear. So this is only the first game.
Yep.
That is the part I
Okay.
said about being a joke a little bit.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. So
Yeah.
the Ultimate Edition is all 3 games.
Yeah.
And this is an up-res version of the Ultimate Edition without 2 of the games. So
Yeah.
I don't know. The big thing that I was excited for is a rejuvenated multiplayer. And you
Yeah.
know, when I went and I played the original trilogy on original hardware last year, one of the big things was like, man, it would be so cool to jump into multiplayer, but you know, those servers are long gone. You got to play the Ultimate Edition. So the idea of this coming with rejuvenated lobbies, just back like it was in the 2006, 2007, 2008, that'd be fucking cool. And I was terrible at Gears of War multiplayer. And I'm definitely worse now, but that the thought of that is like cool, and that would be kind of a sell to me. And also I'm happy people on PlayStation are going to be able to play this series because, or at least the first one, because it's just such a awesome series, and it's coming back soon. We're getting a new installment, but the fact that it's just one game is a little weird. And it's like, if you were just going to release one game, why can't we get like the Oblivion treatment and get like sort of the remaster remake that, you know, clearly AI did for you? But I don't know, this kind of sucks. It's yeah, I don't know why it wouldn't just be all 3 games rather than just one, especially if you're ushering it into a new kind of console, being over on PlayStation. So yeah, it's a little shitty. Kind of sucks.
I have an idea of why it might be just the one. How much is it going to be on PlayStation 5?
40 bucks.
You could get people roped in on an ecosystem that they never played it on.
Yeah.
And then you can release the second one that you've remastered on PlayStation 5 after you've roped them in. And then you could release the third one remastered, and you could just keep pumping it to the people that bought in early as a reward. That's what I say.
Yeah.
That's what I say personally. I don't think it's good. I think it's bad. In fact, I think it's anti-consumer. But that's how this reads to me. I'm not a Gears of War fan, so that's really all I have to say about that. I mean, this is cool. I'm glad to see such a legendary series, one of the many. We're just holding out for the Master Chief Collection here now. But yeah, man, this is good. This is good. Yeah, Master Chief and Viva Pinata, we need that as well.
In the same game.
Ideally.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is cool, I guess. I don't know. I'm not going to buy it. Like, I'm just not. If anything, I'm going to play it on PC. So yeah, this is good, I guess. If I ever want to play it on PC, I might be able to have some sort of upgrade path to getting the better version. But yeah, this is a nothing sandwich for me personally, aside from it being a win for, you know, people that have no other option to play it.
Don't forget, it's not just PS5. This is also coming to Steam, which in and of itself is going to be a huge... My God, the train.
I hear it in my house too.
Yeah, exactly. I took the like glass out of my window so like I could use the screen and everything. The window's closed, but it sounds like it's open because my house is 150 years old. But that's a different story. Anyway, there's 2 giant markets here, the PS5 as well as Steam, that have never had access to this before, through those platforms at least. So you know what? Gears is one of those series that is beloved by so many that they're going to rebuy it. And then for many, many people who have never played it, maybe they did have an Xbox, but they just didn't play it. This is an avenue for additional sales there as well. So is it a money-making scheme, tactic, whatever, to just put out one at a time? Sure. I'll give you that. But is it also pretty brilliant and going to open it up to a lot more people? Yeah. They're going to make bank on this.
Absolutely.
And I would bet that other than maybe PC, the PlayStation sales are insane. I think they'll be way insane.
I would also bet that the overall cost to make this sort of thing happen was relatively low.
I would say that the networking and multiplayer programming probably was the bulk of the cost. Yeah, it's pretty good guess. Okie dokie, let's move on to what we've been playing. Brandon, you're the odd man out this week.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Yes. So I truthfully have not had a lot of time to play games. I played a little bit of Repo with my brother and his girlfriend at the beginning of the week. Last week, well, maybe middle of the week. But then aside from that, I've not really played any video games. So honorable mention, not a video game, but something I feel I should mention because it's nerd adjacent. Okay, so I'm going to mention it's because of my lack of video games this week.
Yeah,
After 24 years, I finally watched The Fellowship of the Ring.
Wow. What'd you think?
It was good. It was really good. Yeah. And it was the
pregnant pause there, friend.
it was the extended director's cut. So I even got a little bit of extra there. R.I.P. headphone users. Sorry about the mouth noises, but it was good, man. It was really, really good. It holds up really well. Even some of the CG from 2001 really isn't that bad, and I believe it's been recolor graded. Yeah, it was great, man.
Those movies all hold up really well for
Yeah.
as old as they are.
Like surprisingly well.
So many practical sets too. But
Yeah.
did you watch this with Dustin?
Yeah.
Did he have to force you? Did he tie you down or anything?
No, they had just watched. I swear to God, they had just watched it like in the past year. They rewatched all of them.
Yeah,
They
I
both are
rewatch
like,
them. I rewatch all the extended editions once a year.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're like huge fans, but I was like, oh yeah, I've never watched those, and he's like, oh, we should watch those sometime, and he just suggested it, and I said, fuck it, let's do it. So we buckled up, and after like breaks and shit, it ended up being like 4.5 hours or something, but
Yeah,
it was great. It was really good, boys. I gotta say, I'm excited to play the rest, and it
Play
did
the
make.
rest.
Well, I'm excited to watch the rest. It did make me want to go back and play Shadow of Mordor.
Mordor.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you have finally entered into this puberty level of adulthood of nerddom. Once you complete all 3 movies in the trilogy, you will become a man. So
I doubt that. Also, no matter also nerd adjacent, nobody can get me to watch Star Wars. I've actually decided that in the past couple weeks. I don't care. I don't want to watch them. I don't like them.
yeah,
That's
You should
it.
watch just Rogue One.
I don't even know about that.
Yeah,
So
that is the best Star Wars movie ever made.
Do you want to?
I
Do you
will.
want to know the only full-length Star Wars movie I've ever watched? The Force Awakens. And I think I watched it in theaters, and I didn't like it that much.
Yeah, I will say this, Brandon. I'm totally fine. You don't ever have to watch a Star Wars movie. I don't care. But if you ever decide you want to, you're like, man, Star Wars. I just want to do something in Star Wars for some reason. All of a sudden, just watch the original trilogy. Don't ever watch anything else. That's what we all had for 30 years, and that's all we had. And it was beautiful. It was a beautiful time. Then came along the prequels and the sequels and everything else and destroyed it all and created this monstrosity that, even though I love Star Wars, I hate.
Right.
I love Star Wars, but I hate the thing it's become because of the culture.
Yeah.
If you could just go back to the pureness of those original 3.
What's the one with Jar Jar? I want to watch that one.
Phantom Menace. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
primarily the Phantom Menace is where he
That
appears.
that movie, as much as it's dunked on, has the best scene in the entire history of all the movies. The
Is that when
Darth
the
Maul fight?
Is that when the when the red dude gets thrown into the pit?
100%. Yeah, big time.
Yeah, I think that's the best one. Having not watched them,
Duel
I
of
think
the
that's
Fates?
I think that's the
Oh,
best one. Yeah.
Man,
No, I just, and I hate to be this way, but I think because everyone loves it so much, I hate it. It's just like
you're a contrarian.
there's just something about it, and I'm willing to like concede on other things. Also, I'm not like a big sci-fi guy. That's kind of like I definitely am more of a fantasy guy, and that's why I was intrigued by Lord of the Rings. I don't know.
They're the same thing.
No, I don't know about that, man.
They are. You have magic and
Does Lord of the Rings have Jar Jar?
no, but it's got crazier shit.
All right.
Wait till you get to the ends. We're in for a wild ride, buddy. Dave, what have you been playing?
Not much. I unfortunately was sick most of last week, and my daughter was sick, so I didn't have a whole lot of game playing time. Played a little bit more of Claire Obscure. I'm still stuck in Act 1, so not much more to say there. Played a little bit of Deep Rock Galactic. Also not much to say there, except that Rogue Core, the closed alpha, launched today, and invites went out. I did not get one. Ben did not get one. But I watched people play it, and I'm interested to see how this game, Deep Rock Galactic Rogue Core, plays out, because it appears as though they've taken the mining out for the most part, and it just made it into a shooter. And I kind of knew that was the case, but I need to see more about what Rogue Core really wants to be, and hopefully I get an invite soon and I can talk about it. But other than that, I haven't really played anything of note. So over to you, Ben.
Yeah, I'm similar in one respect. I haven't played a lot more, but what I have played has been Clair Obscur almost entirely. I mean, other than like some Overwatch a couple nights with the boys, but uh, Clair Obscur continues to be fantastic. I am at least most of the way, if not all, almost at the end of Act 2, I believe. And I mean, I've not looked up any guides or anything, but just basing it on time in Act 2, I think probably most of the way through it. This game continues to be fantastic. The everything about it. I gushed about it last week. I don't need to say a lot extra other than the fact that like now as it's moved on, I've without explaining anything, and there's been new characters introduced. There's been new gameplay systems introduced. There's been new features introduced that have been really, really cool and add a lot to the game. It's not only a fantastic game to play, and you guys know I do love my turn-based games in general, but it's just a really good story too. There are very few games that many games when there is a cutscene, even if it's a good cutscene, I'm like, I can't wait to keep playing. And in this, when the cutscene ends, I'm like, oh, I got to go do this thing before I get another cutscene. So that's been a really good breath of fresh air. But I can't really talk a whole lot more about it without spoiling too many things, just because of like I can't talk about new gameplay systems without spoiling something for somebody. So I'll leave it at it's fantastic and it continues to get better. I'm unfortunately going to be gone from, well, I'm leaving tomorrow and I'm not getting back till next Monday night, and then I will have work on Tuesday. So I probably won't get to play anything except for maybe some stuff on my Steam Deck between now and then. And since I'm playing Clair Obscur on PlayStation, I will not be taking it with me. So I'm going to be missing it badly. But I'm excited for when I get back. It's something to look forward to. Not that I didn't have other stuff to look forward to, but you know what I mean. And that's about it. That's all I've really dabbled in this week. Just been busy, but also playing a lot of it. So that's all I got. Boys, do you have anything else to wrap up the show? Fair enough. Don't forget, you can join us on Discord, handsomephantom.com/Discord. We do appreciate having you guys there. Thanks for everybody who turns up to chat with us and also who shows up on Tuesday nights at whatever time we decide for the show to be here live on YouTube. And also if you want to listen on audio. We know there's a lot of you out there listening on audio, and we appreciate you too. I'm just resting my arm on top of my head for some reason right now. I apologize. I think that's everything we got. Derek says, PAX boys, don't forget to go see Randy for the Borderlands presentation Friday at 1. I think Dave was going to be there. He's going to try to rush the stage. Radek says, no hype for the Destiny and Star Wars crossover. Radek, I didn't even know it was happening. I did know that Star Wars crossover was happening with Fortnite, just because my kids play it. But no hype for Destiny anymore. 1,200 hours into both those games combined. I'm good. And you know what else I'm good with? This show. Goodbye.